makes me look like a local when I've never been to a city before, and people always wonder how I know that, and this is my secret. Hey everyone, so the other day I got this text message and I stopped everything I was doing and needed to respond immediately because channel OGs may remember that I was a flight attendant for 3 years and I've traveled to over 30 countries. So anytime I can combine my loves of tech and travel, I must. And so I responded to the person's text immediately with the app we were talking about, and then I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, they might also benefit from this app and this app. So I ended up sending about 10 messages with different apps back to back. Yes, I was the spam texter. And I figured right now it is peak travel season, so this is the perfect time. I'm not gonna gatekeep these apps. This is my 5 updated, must-have, essential, whatever you want to call it, travel apps for 2023. For the VPN specifically, I'm not necessarily gonna say you have to use the same VPN that I use or anything like that, because there are a ton of VPN companies out there, but I highly, highly, highly recommend you travel with a VPN. And they are, almost all of them, paid subscription type services, so shop around a little bit. But a VPN is crucial. When you are traveling in different countries, you know, you're not on your home Wi-Fi network that you control. You're often jumping into like McDonald's or Starbucks or wherever to find a public Wi-Fi network. And if you're using a VPN, it hides your IP address first of all when you are on these public networks. And also it just allows you to browse or do whatever you're doing on your phone more securely. It hides your data. So if you are in a hostel or if you're in a Starbucks and you're on the public Wi-Fi, you're using your VPN, you can feel way better and way safer about checking your bank account. Maybe you need to transfer money to someone or whatever you're doing, you can just kind of have that peace of mind that whatever you're doing on your phone is way more secure and private than if you were not using a VPN. Also, an added bonus of using a VPN, you can use the VPN to set your location to anywhere in the world, essentially. So often if I'm overseas, I'll set my location to Canada, to home, so that I can access my same Netflix shows and stuff like that, because if you've ever traveled and you have tried to get episode 5 or 6 of whatever show you're watching back home and you can't because that country offers different Netflix shows, you'll know the pain. With a VPN, you get around that. I personally use NordVPN and I've used it for a few years. I've mentioned it on this channel before. And this is not sponsored, none of this is sponsored, this is just what I'm using. And it's been great, it's super fast, it's reliable. The app is super easy to navigate and it syncs across all my devices. A big tip for VPNs, and you did not hear this from me, they do often have like incredible sign up offers, so it can be like 3 years for the price of 1 or like something ridiculous. So in theory, one could sign up for whatever company is offering the best sign up deal and then cancel your subscription at the end of the term and then, you know, try a different company that has another awesome sign up deal. I'm not saying you should, I'm saying in theory one could do that and then you're always saving on a VPN subscription. Now this second app is the app the person was asking about and it's called Transit. It is awesome. I love it so much. It's super intuitive. It's so easy. I love the UI, like it's just a pretty app and it's also functional, so that's a bonus. There's a free version or you can pay for a subscription. Again, I personally only use the free version. Granted, a few caveats here. With the free version, obviously you don't have all the features and one being you can't see all of the transit lines available to you, but I've never really had an issue. Like it shows you the main transit lines and then you can also favorite the ones that you use most regularly. So I haven't really had an issue with the free version, but something to know. And the other big thing to know is, at the moment anyways, it's only available in large cities. So if you are traveling somewhere like kinda out there or a little bit off the beaten path, it may or may not have coverage there, but for large like metropolis cities, you should be fine. So one of my favorite things about this app is it really combines all the transit lines or all the modes of transportation even into one. So if it's a bus, if there's a subway, if there's trains, whatever it is, you can see it all in the app. Instantly, the second you open the app, it updates and it'll show you how many minutes until the next departure. It'll show you, where the stops are, how to get there. It'll show you which exit to take, but it'll just show you updates. You can in real time track where some of the modes of transit are. It'll show you how crowded the bus or the train is. The other great thing is it'll also show bikes. So you know how like some cities have commuter bikes or they'll have scooters now? You can see that on this map also. It'll update, it'll show you how many are available at a certain stop. And then lastly, it'll also show you Ubers. So if there is an issue with transit or a delay comes up, like whatever it is, it'll also show you how much it would be to Uber wherever you are. And you can, in the app, order your Uber. So you don't actually have to switch between apps or anything like that. It's all in one place and it is freaking awesome. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Brooke, the transit app looks sick, but the problem is I don't have data when I travel, or I can't use my phone when I travel. And I hear you, I didn't used to be able to either. But that's where this next app comes in. Airalo is the name of the app and it offers eSIMs. It has very quickly been one of my like absolute must go-tos. I guess VPNs and eSIMs actually when I travel. Like absolutely every single trip I use them. It just literally makes everything easier. You may or may not know what an eSIM is, but you probably know what a SIM card is, and that's like the little memory card looking thing that you put in your phone usually when you get a new phone. So it's basically a digital version of that, which is super, super convenient for traveling. So in the past when you'd travel, you pretty much had three options. One, just not to have data, not to really use your phone unless you're on Wi-Fi. Two, to buy a local SIM when you landed. So airports still sell them to this day and they're still used, but you would go and buy a physical SIM in whatever country you're in and pop it into your phone. The plans themselves could be pretty cheap, like they're not the most expensive thing. However, it's inconvenient to have to take out your home SIM card, potentially lose it, and pop this new one in. It also means you have two numbers. It's just confusing, okay? The third option was to bring two phones. So you could just have like your home phone with your home SIM and hardly use it unless you're on Wi-Fi. And then you could bring like a super cheap phone or something that you're just popping in different SIM cards into wherever you're traveling. There were options, they just weren't the most convenient or easiest, let's call it. So this is where the eSIM has come in. And again, it's, I would say a few years, like they've become super popular. An eSIM is data only. So there's no voice calls or texting, anything like that. It's really anything that is internet based. Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever we're calling it these days. iMessage still works, FaceTime, Skype, if you use that, WhatsApp. Those like, all of those will still work. And let's be honest, that's how most of us communicate these days anyways. So no issues there. And also, I guess what I have found when you are traveling internationally is a lot of businesses, so whether it's, a store, hotel, restaurant, they will have a WhatsApp number most of the time. So I have used my eSIM before to like make a dinner reservation through WhatsApp or call a restaurant, call a store to get hours, like whatever it is, super, super, super convenient to have an eSIM. The other thing is an eSIM is cheap, like capital letters cheap. At home, well, in Canada, when I travel internationally, it costs me something like $15 a day to be able to use my phone with my existing plan. And that's an additional $15 a day. Like, it's stupid. Whereas with an eSIM, I'm literally paying the same amount for a month's worth of data. So one day versus a month, like, it's literally a no-brainer. So I've used a few different eSIM companies or brands, apps, whatever you want to call it, and Airalo is definitely my favorite so far. It just seems to be like the fastest and most reliable. Again, not sponsored. They have no idea who I am, but it's great. It's so easy to use, and I'm talking easy like I'm usually setting it up when I'm at the airport about to get on a plane. So it's something you can do beforehand and then just activate once you land in the destination country. And it happens literally in like a matter of minutes. It's super, super fast. And it's also really easy to keep track of how much data you've used. And then if you need to top up, you can just top up the plan. Like, it's so easy. It's all done in the app. It'll also send you notifications if you are running out of data. Like, it's very just easy. I know I've said that about 100 times, but there's no other way to describe it. It just is easy. Another great thing is if you're traveling to multiple countries on one trip, they got you covered because you can get a regional eSIM, which basically includes a collection of countries. So it ends up saving you money. You do not have to get an eSIM for every individual country. You just get one that covers everything. You set it up once and you're good to go. And if you're even going super global and you're going to different continents or something like that, they also offer global SIMs. So same thing. You pay once and your coverage is for everywhere. So this fourth app, I love it so much. I have mentioned it on the channel before. It's called City Maps to Go Pro. And it's Pro because I've paid for the Pro version. So for this app, there's two different apps. Like the free version is one app, the paid version is a different app. You can still, again, use either. The free version just limits how many maps you can download. And so you can think of this as offline maps that use GPS to show you your location. So before eSIMs, or before I started paying for eSIMs, I use this app religiously all over the world. And now I still use it, but it is more of like my backup method of getting around, because it's not going to give you step-by-step instructions. But in the times where I don't have data, let's say my eSIM has run out, or if I'm somewhere with no service, like I'll use it most if I'm on the subway and there's no service in the subway, I can almost always still use this app with my GPS location to figure out where I am. So it's still useful. And I still use it on every trip. And so what I'll do is wherever I'm going, I download the map and I will pin or star, favorite, whatever you want to call it, a few different locations. So I'll always save like the airport, I'll save the hotel or wherever I'm staying, I'll save big tourist attractions or like a big train station, something like that, maybe a restaurant I definitely want to go to. I'll save basically the essentials on the app, and that way, if ever I am without service, I can use this to get there. How you would use it, when you open the app, it'll show you with this blue dot with a triangle or blue dot with a hat, whatever you want to call it. That represents your current location, your GPS location. And so what you do is the top of your phone represents the triangle or represents where that dot is pointing. So I will basically turn my phone until the arrow lines up with one of my saved locations. So if I'm trying to get to this restaurant, I'll literally just be turning my phone around until the arrow lines up with the saved location, and then I know what direction I need to go in, wherever the top of my phone is pointing. Sounds complex, but if you try it, it's honestly a lot easier than it sounds. And again, it's not going to give you step-by-step instructions, so I'll literally be walking around with my phone out and just like keep updating what direction I'm going in. Or, you know, you can still see streets and stuff, so you can just kind of, if it's easy, remember like, okay, walk 2 streets, turn left on this street, turn right on that street, whatever it is. This app has saved me so many times around the world, I cannot tell you. It literally makes me look like a local when I've never been to a city before, because I'll just look at my phone and know, okay, we're going in this direction, and people always wonder how I know that, and this is my secret. And last but not least is good old Google Maps. And I honestly hate that I'm including it in this list, but I use it basically exclusively to find food, and it has the most data. It's, you know, has the most information when it comes to the top restaurants, reviews, location, and, you know, their hours when they're open, that sort of thing. So I will, as I mentioned before, like I'll still save any crucial places in City Maps to Go, and then Google Maps for when I'm there. Or actually even before, like before I go on a trip, I will always research some top restaurants or some top places I want to go, and I'll save them to my lists within Google Maps. But I almost never download the offline maps for Google Maps. I honestly don't find them that great. I'm sorry if you do, but for offline maps, it's always City Maps to Go. So Google Maps for food, city maps to go for everything else. If you have a trip coming up and end up using one or all of these apps and you absolutely love them, please let me know in the comments. It would make me so happy to know that you found value in it. And if there's any apps that you recommend, add those to the comments as well. I'd love to take a look. I'm sure others would also. So happy travels and have a great day. Bye.